Come on!
Ladies and gents, boys and germs, gorillas, monkeys, birds of a feather, flocking together, all of you people out there in the big, wide, circular world, hello. I am George and I am here to talk about Miss Sloane.
Lobbying is about foresight, about anticipating your opponent's moves and devising countermeasures.
Miss Sloane is a slightly strange film directed by the director who made Shakespeare in Love, which has lots of great characters in it. This film isn't like that, and it's lacking in characters, it's lacking in likeable characters, but the interesting thing is, I think the director knows it. I don't think these characters are supposed to be likeable. They are office types, but they are also kind of cliche office types because, let's be honest, wherever you go, you're going to find human beings. This film has a frustrating vibe where it's like everything is trying to be super cool. Super cool. Everything has a polish and a glisten and a gleam, and it really lacks the kind of density almost of humanity. It doesn't quite get beneath the layer of this kind of cinematic theatrical polish. Like, you can feel that every line that everybody says is a scripted line. Now, Miss Sloane, the character, is the best character in the film, and she's quite unlikable in a way where you can tell she's supposed to be quite unlikable.
Jury accommodations and sports
Daniel.
tickets to be for...
When I take the stand, you'll see nothing but a granite wall.
I like the fact that at one point a character says to her, "You're basically a man, all you're lacking is a dick," and she does have that kind of vibe, which is saying to the audience, like, yeah, I know she's like this, she's supposed to be like this isn't a woman who you necessarily are supposed to fall in love with as a character. That doesn't bother me, she does a very good job. But what bothers me is that all of the other characters are a bit like that too. It reminded me in tone to The Social Network, except The Social Network is an excellent film, and Mark Zuckerberg's character in The Social Network, he's the weird one, but everyone else is quite normal, and he's the standout one who's kind of emotionless and stoic and talks very fast, but everyone else is quite human. Miss Sloane seems to have gotten it a little bit wrong in that it's almost imitatory of The Social Network. Even the music seems to be imitating it, but is no way near as good. The thing is Miss Sloane is like, everyone is kind of like that Mark Zuckerberg character. Everyone is stoic, everyone is calm, everyone is calculated, everyone is methodical, and it is a little bit like, can we have some like alternation in the wave and the tone of this film? I mean, it is kind of like this throughout the whole thing. Like, if you watched it on like a pulse, it would sort of be like that. It's quite flat. That being said, I enjoyed it. I thought it was a good story. It was like a window into a world that, to be honest, I don't care too much about. I don't care for lobbyists. I'm not interested in that kind of career. I find it somewhat dehumanizing, which is apparent in the film, and I think that it was intentionally done in that kind of a way. So that's kind of to its credit, as opposed to it being a fault. But just because the characters aren't particularly lovable doesn't mean that you can't love the film. Look at Reservoir Dogs. None of these characters are particularly the kinds of people you want to hang around with, but they are certainly entertaining to watch. Miss Sloane doesn't have that. But that being said, it was a good story. It was entertaining, it was intelligent. I did feel like I was in the hands of somebody intelligent. One thing that it significantly lacked is, it should have tried to educate the audience a little more in regards to explaining what lobbyists do and who they are and what their work actually is. A little bit of a narration or something, just to make the audience more aware of the kind of world that they are a part of. It could have very simply had some narration from the Miss Sloane character explaining, this is what we do. You see this kind of stuff in films like Fight Club, where Tyler Durden is explaining this is how soap works, or I think movies like maybe The Boiler Room did it. It's very common in cinema to have a narrator explaining this is how things work, especially in the beginning of the film. And Miss Sloane was sort of like expecting that the audience just understands. Now, I do happen to understand a bit about lobbyists. I did some investigation into it some years before, but I don't know everything about them, and I would have appreciated it if they jogged my memory a little bit. It did sort of take for granted the idea that you're probably going to understand the careers that you are watching. But overall it was entertaining, and there were some good characters in it.
You crossed the line. This is more important than my career.
You have to make it personal.
They will throw you in jail for contempt of Congress.
Anyway, it's a bit too cool, a bit too polished, trying to be a bit too perfect. The cinematography is okay. It's nothing special. Sometimes the camera sort of shakes a little bit just to try and make it seem interesting when it's not. Would have been better just put the camera there and leave it still and let the performances carry the film, because it's that kind of a movie, like The Social Network. Very still, very flowing, very nice, not trying to trick you into being entertained with a little bit of a camera judder. But anyway, you know, it's quite a good movie. I can't criticize it too much. It's quite intelligent. I wasn't bored, but it did finish, and I was like, yeah, that was pretty good. But that's all. I wasn't punching the air saying, wow, you know, what a great film. Anyway, that's it. That's Miss Sloane. I'm George. You're you, and that guy standing behind you, I don't know who that is. Like, what's that guy doing? Anyway, see you again soon. Peace.